Hello and welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm just spending some time in my kitchen enjoying a bit of cooking, and something that I am practicing in my cooking is utilizing and keeping a continuum, whether that is cooking a whole chicken, making broth out of the carcass and use that broth in a goulash, as I am doing today, or just creating recipes with the same ingredients for a week. During spring, summer and fall, I get to improvise a lot cooking with my garden fresh produce, but in the winter I can plan it out and I use either my preserved food or produce in season. Which, to be honest, is not a lot here in Sweden. I do try to keep it local, but I know I can always get like onions, potatoes and lettuce, cucumbers, for example, from Sweden. And today I am even using a butternut squash grown here in Sweden. So there is a few things to choose from. I do, of course, also buy tomatoes, bell peppers, etc. from other countries if I don't have any in my freezer, because I just love using them in my cooking. I actually do have some green bell peppers from last year's garden that I will be using today, but a goulash requires red bell peppers and that is what I prefer. I actually haven't bought chicken to cook or let alone eaten chicken since 7 or 8 years ago when I first went pescatarian, and I didn't eat any meat except for seafood for about 1 or 2 years. Then I slowly introduced meat back in my diet, but being very aware of the quality and where it comes from. Also being quite limited, I would call myself a flexitarian if I were to label my diet. Then my mom got chickens and I still lived there, where we raised these chicks from eggs and we named them, etc. These chickens were such a joy, and I am today longing to get my own chickens for eggs. But that really put my opinions about the meat industry into further perspective, and I found out that not even in Sweden the chicken farms are ethical. I have been looking for local meat producers for a while, and though I have found a few, it is extremely expensive. And this brings me to today, where I finally found chicken at my local grocery store that are both, and brace for this long word, ecological or organically certified and quality standard certified for a decent price. This small chicken company is scattered throughout Sweden, and their website really warmed my heart, and I will quote their website. How could we forget what real chicken should taste like? When did respect for how animals should be treated disappear? We are tired of taste, morality and quality being put aside when efficient production and price pressure are the only things that rule. An alternative was needed, an option to give you the opportunity to choose an ingredient that you can cook with pleasure and serve with pride, so that you can know that what is put on the plate has lived a dignified life, and that there really is a difference in taste. Now, I sincerely don't judge or expect anything from anyone when it comes to food preference or diets, etc. This is completely individual. But since this is my channel, I can only talk from my point of view, and these were my thoughts and decisions throughout the years. And I'm just so grateful that I have found some good quality chicken. That's all. Enough of the meat talk, and let's talk about ethical vegetables. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just wanted to go through what I have done here, and basically I am roasting the whole chicken in the oven with some made up glaze, and I have written all the ingredients and temperatures and everything on the screen, but if it's hard to follow, I will also leave everything down in the description so you can take a screenshot or whatever for when it's needed. And here is my attempt to cut up and divide all the meat into dark and white meat, which I have clearly never done before. It was messy, but I think I did alright. I do actually prefer the dark meat, which I did not 7 or 8 years ago. It's crazy how taste can develop and change. And the carcass, some skin, and the roasted garlic and onion I am saving for broth, but the liquid I am using for a red wine sauce. I had to call down my fiance to approve the color of the chicken because I was scared it was undercooked. But he said it was perfect, so we went with it, and I'll say that this lighting makes it look a little pink, but it was perfectly cooked. As previously mentioned, I like to keep a continuum. So, for example, using the crockpot 2 times for different things, only rinsing it out in between since there are the same ingredients being used. The crockpot just makes everything so much faster, and having a 4-month-old baby to look after, I can't really be supervising a pot on the stove. So yeah, I just added a bunch of ingredients to this broth and set the crockpot for 1 hour. I then did let the broth sit in the fridge overnight so that I could easily scrape out the excess fat that accumulates on top. I made sure to make enough to use for the goulash recipe and then some to put in the freezer for future use, and I already plan to thaw it out this week for some ramen.
Yeah.
Goulash is one of my favorite meals ever. I just think that regular steak with potatoes can be quite dry in a way and not very good the day after, but this way I can enjoy the same ingredients and taste for multiple days without getting dry or boring. I serve this with a dollop of Turkish yogurt because it adds extra creaminess and a tiny bit of acidity. When I use my crockpot, I usually add everything and turn it on one of these settings, like stew for example, but today I had the meat for 35 minutes and then I added the potatoes and bell peppers for 10 minutes and that turned out perfectly. So here it is. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even gained some inspiration in the kitchen. And do let me know if you have even more ways to utilize a whole chicken. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.